every 100-word ChatGPT prompt expends what is equivalent to a 20-ounce bottle of water. Combined with the billions of people that use AI, data centers nationwide use more than 450 million gallons of water daily. To put that into perspective, every 2 minutes, AI data centers consume the amount of water in an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Although AI's development has led to enhanced productivity from quick Google searches to globally influential companies, as of now, 13.7% of US workers report having lost their jobs because of AI, and 23% of US companies report having replaced human workers with robots. This rapidly growing sector of technology has demonstrated truly unmatched potential for both innovation and destruction, and yet significant gaps still remain within the literature concerning the ethical, social, and sustainability implications of AI systems. A more complete understanding of AI's historical, environmental, political, and economic impacts as a whole is necessary not only for grasping its exponentially developing power, but also developing effective environmental policies and guiding sustainable innovation strategies.
So what exactly is AI?
AI is a group of technologies that can process information and at least superficially mimic human thinking.
Primarily, it centers around the human intelligence processes to reason, discover meaning, generalize, and learn from previous experience. And the concept has somewhat existed since the 1950s, with the Turing machine. Recently, AI technology has been rapidly advancing, and so has its growing importance among industries, with 88% of companies worldwide actively utilizing AI in their operations. But at the same time, AI comes with detrimental environmental impacts.
AI development necessitates the construction of data centers, processors, and computational networks, which all consume substantial energy and also produce major carbon emissions. One source states that AI data centers use up 12% of the US's energy use. AI technology is incredibly energy intensive, especially in comparison to other similar technologies. For example, a request made through ChatGPT consumes 10 times the electricity of a Google search. As a result, AI's hegemonization has led to significant rise in energy consumption across the globe. For scale, in Ireland, the rise of AI could see data centers account for nearly 35% of the country's energy use by 2026.
To add to AI's destruction of the environment, this immense electricity consumption is often fueled by fossil fuels. One source states that training a single transformer model produces over 284 tons of CO2, equivalent to 5 cars' lifetime emissions. AI data centers and processing hardware also require significant natural resources, including cobalt, silicon, gold, and many other metals to be made. The UN Environment Program finds that making a 2-kilogram computer requires 800 kilograms of raw materials. This resource extraction damages the environment because these materials are often mined in environmentally destructive ways. As a result, the areas in which mining takes place often experience pollution and soil erosion.
Not only does the construction of AI centers require environmental destruction, the usage of these facilities pollute the environment with electronic waste such as mercury and lead. The operation of AI technology requires further environmental degradation in that data centers consume extreme quantities of water. One statistic says globally, AI-related infrastructures may soon consume 6 times more water than Denmark, a country of 6 million. This excessive water use is not only harmful to the environment, but also to humans, as there is already a limited supply of water. As a quarter of humanity already lacks access to clean water and sanitation. Not only is the construction of AI harmful to the environment, but the way they carry out their responsibilities further harms the environment.
Though AI comes with clear environmental consequences, it has made its way into many aspects of our daily lives and job industry. To understand AI's prevalence in the current job industry,
we interviewed Baiji He, a software engineer focusing on search infrastructure and whose work is heavily intertwined with AI.
My job is to build a system that takes large amount of product data and make it searchable very quickly. For example, when customer types a query on an online store, our systems have to search through billions of products and return the relevant results in just a few milliseconds.
For people in similar fields as him that deal with large quantities of data, AI is immensely helpful with data enrichment, coding, debugging, and speeding up development overall.
AI's pressing and impending technological potential has been creating both excitement and concerns for the state of our economy. This is far from the first time our communities and governments have had to deal with a rapidly advancing sector of technology that has held wide uncertainty because of its prospect for both innovation and shifts in economic dynamics. In the past, society has had to deal with rapidly growing technologies, such as with the Industrial Revolution and the introduction of exceptionally power-productive machines in, for example, the textile industry. Like previous GPTs, general-purpose technologies, AI has been made with the intention to support productivity and has already been applied to an extensive amount of job fields. From jobs such as Baijihi's software engineering, to healthcare, and even to teaching, artificial intelligence has rapidly created both lower-costing labor and higher-quality outputs. However, AI's growing presence introduces a fundamentally different threat to society than other GPTs in the past. This GPT was designed more to replace than to complement.
Though AI undoubtedly has wide potential for innovation and advancements in society, the potential and power it has that's applicable to so many different workforces also carries large concerns about job displacement. Similar to previous GPTs in history, those who profit from the technology are at the forefront of its deployment or fields that can directly benefit, and those who may fall behind economically are fields who don't directly benefit from the technology, or worse, fields where the adoption of the technology renders their existing competencies and skills obsolete or replaceable. In fact, in Baijihi's job, he estimates that 99% of the code that was previously written by humans is now written by AI, and human workers who dominate in his field are those who specialize in being able to skillfully train AI bots to their advantage. Even though in the past, social safety nets have been put in place by the government to try to accommodate those in the latter group of people who may be pushed at the bottom with rising technology, even the most advanced social welfare programs would probably face difficulties with the situation that AI is likely to press onto us for two reasons. Firstly, AI has the capability to displace a significantly larger amount of workers than other forms of technology. And secondly, employment and economic stratification are already issues within the United States. There's a definite risk of AI displacing lower-paying jobs and further worsening the wealth gap. And furthermore, with the abolishment of child labor and the amount of retired people increasing with a growing life expectancy, the amount of people not contributing to the economy puts even more at stake with the advent of AI. We may not be able to sustainably afford to have many more unemployed people.
Even though AI holds the potential to increase America's total national wealth, it also threatens to perpetuate economic inequality and contribute to the income gap. This phenomenon is known as the paradox of plenty, in which a society becomes richer in aggregate but poorer for many individuals and communities.
The reason AI causes this paradox of plenty is
it gives those who are in control of AI the power to subtly manipulate America's economy and culture without anyone being able to contest their control. Indeed, AI is incredibly influential in society's beliefs and behavior because, since it is ingrained into so many people's daily life, any subtle ideologies in AI can greatly influence public thoughts. Content and ads that helped AI generate already shows up commonly throughout media. In this way, the creators of AI hold the power to redefine what counts as ethical behavior.
This power to subtly nudge cultural beliefs and behavior is incredibly dangerous, as the people who are most susceptible to its societal impacts are often the people with least control over them, the lower classes. The poor lack the financial stability to resist the economic repercussions of AI in America. Furthermore,
The poor rarely have a role in AI's design or the means to alter its assumptions and uses.
control over AI is control over one's economic, cultural, and physical environment. And the upper classes wield this control while the lower classes suffer due to it, which demonstrates how AI contributes to class inequality and to social stratification through its power over ideology.
The interplay between AI, ideology, and stratification reveals AI is inherently a political issue. Yet, political interference in AI has seemed to only exacerbate the issue. One of Donald Trump's goals in his presidency has been to accelerate AI development and become a leader in the AI industry. The Trump administration has taken several steps to work towards this goal, including the Genesis mission and the AI Action Plan.
The Genesis mission, established in November of 2025, is a project focused on combining the expertise of national laboratories and AI models. The mission entails the usage of the country's 17 national laboratories in collaboration with many of the US's leading AI companies, such as OpenAI, Anthropic, and even quantum computing companies such as Quantinuum. You see, the problem with many AI models is that they are partially trained off the internet and social media, and seldom trained off of academic research and datasets. This development inherently limits AI's scientific capabilities. However, in When combined with the limitless datasets and computational power of national laboratories, the AI models produced under the Genesis mission are predicted to unlock breakthroughs in medicine, energy, materials, sciences, and beyond.
One of the projects introduced under the Trump administration is the AI Action Plan. The crux of this project is taking steps to eliminate AI regulations and establishing AI as a foundational tool in not only the US, but also foreign affairs and allyship. The plan entails eliminating previously established laws and regulations that limit AI. For example, on his first day in office, Trump rescinded Biden's executive order that limited the development of AI and emphasized safety and security measures. Additionally, Trump has actively fought against EU regulations on AI, such as the Digital Services Act, an act that forces social media companies to restrict AI and illegal content. Trump has also ordered a pause on state AI laws, even attempting to pass an executive order banning all state regulations. Moreover, Trump has started the Stargate project, a $500 billion project aimed to develop 5 massive AI centers all over the US. AI giants such as Nvidia, Oracle, and Microsoft have already invested billions of dollars in the venture. The government has also prioritized sending AI technologies to other countries in order to
A. Strengthen foreign allyship, and B. Strengthen the technological forces of the US's ally.
These 2 projects demonstrate the main ideology that Trump has taken to AI development.
The full speed ahead approach in order to benefit America and center its place as a world superpower in AI technology.
Throughout his presidency, the government has constantly placed an emphasis on accelerating the development of the AI industry. All the environmental impacts that AI has had on the US stem from a desire to lead the world and maintain dominance. This mindset is shared by the general population, with 79% of Americans believing that it is important to lead the world in the AI race, and only 12% of people believing that America is currently leading the AI race. This desire to lead the US is one of the biggest factors in AI's havoc on the road.
Another goal the Trump administration has with AI is to bring a new golden age of human flourishing, economic competitiveness, and national security to the American people. The administration seeks to not only stay dominant in the AI industry, but directly use AI to benefit the population. How exactly the administration plans to do this remains unclear. However, Trump has stated he believes AI to be the tool that reshapes the world and plans to use it as such.
However, many people disagree with Trump's approach to AI, and many have spoken in clear disagreement with his policies. In a poll created by Gallup Inc., an international analytics company, found that nearly 80% of Americans believe that AI regulations should be strengthened. Notably, this data remains the same regardless of political affiliation. In addition, 68% of Americans either fully or somewhat distrust AI at the moment.
However, attitudes towards AI were not always so negative. In fact, when AI was first emerging, many people blindly accepted it, and a large reason for this was the lack of scientific research about AI's consequences. Research in this area was sparse, especially in regards to ecological research. Even the little research that was conducted on the ecological impacts was inadequate, as it often focused too narrowly on the energy consumption of data centers while ignoring crucial contextual factors such as environmental policies, regulatory frameworks, and the level of economic development. This widespread ignorance led to the somewhat common perception that AI technology was, and this belief contributed greatly to the nearly hegemonic sense of optimism and enthusiasm towards AI while it was first emerging. Even if this enthusiasm was based in ignorance and the expectations for AI were inaccurate or incomplete, the hegemony of this optimism legitimized the potential of AI in the eyes of the government. The expectations for the AI, fostered by the lack of scientific research, materialized into government support and funding for AI development, which has led to the current ecological destructive state of AI.
Yet, the crucial question remains, who is to blame for AI's ecological impacts? The most obvious answer is the creators of AI, business owners, and stakeholders, as they funded and facilitated the creation of this resource-intensive technology. They designed AI with the intentions of maximizing productivity, without consideration of its impacts on the environment. Furthermore, business owners have perpetuated AI's environmental impacts by protesting the ratification of AI prevention policies. For example, in 2025, the U.S. Government Accountability Office proposed 3 potential policies to address the environmental destruction AI causes. However, the government never ended up implementing these policies. policies, and a large reason for this inaction was resistance from business owners. For example, one of the policies that the article proposed was to inform the public of the quantitative impacts of AI infrastructure has on the environment. What stopped them from implementing this was the fact that AI industry and developers may not wish to release information that they view as proprietary.
Of corporations to maintain their perception of AI as a purely good force in order to maximize their profits encourages them to not only directly contribute to the destruction of the environment,
but also hide this knowledge from the public.
However, AI businesses would not have been able to pollute the environment at such a large scale if not for inaction of the government. In the example from the US Government Accountability Office, if the government had simply stood firm and enforced their policies despite the resistance of AI businesses, they likely would have made a dent in AI's environmental destruction, especially because the government is so powerful. Indeed, Zhang found that countries with strong governments, effective environmental regulations, and frequent policy enforcement are more successful in managing the environmental consequences of AI.
With a historically inconsistent approach to AI in the United States and ideologically polarized presidential terms that have taken on vastly different mindsets, policies and legislation have been difficult to extensively implement. According to Congress.gov, no federal legislation establishing broad regulatory authorities for the development or use of AI or prohibitions on AI have been enacted. Recent Congress movements have passed primarily more towards AI provisions. Consequently, in the absence of federal AI regulations, many different states have been taking on the initiative to create their own sets of laws. However, such a patchwork of AI laws creates unintended difficulties for emerging AI companies with their progresses and only hinders progress towards more sustainable futures in AI.
The government's inaction in face of immense ecological destruction is indicative of an alarming pattern in the government's conduct towards the environment. The government's general protocol for addressing AI revolves around
Probing and learning rather than stipulating definitive targets.
In other words, the government is reluctant to address AI and entrusts the private sector to self-regulate. However, as you know, businesses can never be expected to act morally. As a result, the government's laid-back approach to handling AI
Has given AI corporations too much freedom, and that has enabled AI's resource-intensive design.
However, the fact that the lack of scientific knowledge plays such a key role in enabling AI implies that now,
As our understanding of AI continues to grow, so does our ability to address and overcome its negative consequences. We are in a better position than ever to begin undoing AI's detrimental impacts. Furthermore, as new research has unveiled the potential ecological benefits of AI, there is hope that
AI beneficial implications will eventually outweigh its destructive ones.
Active efforts have been made to try and use AI to offset its own environmental consequences. For example, AI is already starting to help people from both companies and just individuals to make more environmentally friendly choices. It can enhance energy efficiency and reduce energy usage as it assists in environmental monitoring and management, such as tracking air emissions. Artificial intelligence is a powerful tool in the global fight against climate change, as it offers innovative solutions to optimize energy use, reduce waste, and accelerate the adoption of clean technologies. It does this through enabling intelligent decision-making by leveraging advanced algorithms, machine learning, and predictive analytics, thereby enhancing efficiency, minimizing waste, and facilitating clean technological advancements. AI and people involved with it have been making conscious efforts to improve AI's ability to offset its environmentally disastrous consequences.
In light of AI's potential to aid the environment, it could be said that the view of AI as destructive is overly critical or too narrowly focused. In fact, in AI's relatively short existence, its productivity has already been utilized to accomplish feats towards bettering society in fields such as medicine, agriculture, and data analysis. In addition, the water and energy being used in excess that we attribute to AI is actually a part of a much larger infrastructure of digital activity. We can't just isolate AI and blame the effects that it itself is causing. The same facilities that serve AI models also handle video streaming, cloud storage, email, banking, logistics, electronic health records, and everyday smartphone syncing and backups. Every Netflix episode, Amazon purchase, Canvas upload, Google Docs save, or Zoom meeting touches the same global infrastructure that AI processes touch on. Though AI is creating a sudden and noticeable impact on the environment, with one prediction saying AI data centers might use up 12% of the US's energy use, AI is far from the only technology wasting unnecessary amounts of energy, yet rapid improvements are already underway and likely to progress.
In the last 2 years,
the energy consumption of the median AI prompt has reduced by 33 times, and the average carbon emission by 44 times.
a large reason for this reduction is efforts from corporations. Baiji He reveals that many software companies, including his, are actively taking steps to be environmentally friendly and sustainable with the energy they use. Several countries in the global north, groups like the EU and private organizations in the global south, have made progress in establishing comprehensive ethical safeguards. Furthermore, the United Nations has put thoughtful consideration into international treaties that would implement policies for the greater political, social, economic, and environmental good of society. The US introduced some legislation to try and mitigate the problem. For example, a project funded by a $12 million grant from the US National Science Foundation focuses on reducing the carbon footprint of computing by 45% within the next decade.
As the UN Environment Program recommends, we could address the environmental issue by forcing AI companies to be transparent about the environmental consequences of their actions. The government could also push for the creation of less energy-intensive AI technology in data centers. We can also promote the usage of renewable energy. Additionally, countries who are already shifting towards renewable energy sources are better able to offset the emissions produced by AI, as well as are more likely to move AI to renewable energy. In America, the
ball of renewable energy policy has already begun to roll.
So as sustainability garners cultural support, we become ever more able to minimize AI's destructive effects.
Though AI raises concerns, we must remain open, responsible, and educated on how multiple aspects of its impacts affect the topic. Like previous GPTs that have risen, we will find more opportunities and adapt to the problems that we face. By remaining conscious of the different tenets of society's influence and mindfully making informed decisions to optimize political, social, economic, and ecological conditions of the environment around us, we can stop AI from taking over the world. Basically, we can prevent the world from exploding.